So the best way to think about Elon Musk, Donald Trump, Doge, and the tech bros is to understand that these people are venture capitalists and basically sell you the dream, but don't necessarily deliver what was promised. That's the subject of today's video, and there's a lot of information going on out there, and there's a couple things I saw today which I'll talk about, and I want to share my thoughts on this. So first, we've been talking about the sovereign wealth fund for quite a while. If you don't know, basically, Donald Trump signed an executive order, I think it was like February 5th, something like that, that said, hey, we're going to have the sovereign wealth fund. It's basically going to be a slush fund where they can, collect a bunch of money through their new tariffs and taxes, throw it in there, and then they'll use that slush fund money then to fund the tech bro type of projects that Elon Musk and all their billionaire buddies want to run. Be it your AI and your Stargates, that was announced recently. Maybe they're going to be buying Greenland, these kind of things. And why am I mentioning the Doge stuff? Because it all fits in that world. Essentially, in that world, you have a bunch of dudes, right? So essentially tech bros or finance dudes. Usually women aren't in this world because it's a bunch of dudes doing dude stuff. And their solutions to everything is always, we need more dudes and more tech. That's essentially what they're going for. But this tech may not necessarily work as advertised. So for example, there's this Adrian Dittman account out there, which may or may not be Elon, regardless if it's Elon or not. We'll just say he's got a certain philosophy that matches Elon and it sounds just like Elon. He was telling his other friendly bros that basically there's too much bureaucracy in the world. He hates meetings, and the best way to solve everything is to just get rid of meetings entirely. And the best way to get rid of meetings entirely is basically get rid of humans. So what if essentially we could run the United States government with all just one AI? Then you don't have any humans, therefore everything can just be based on numbers or whatever. And so now they want to, feed in all of the contracts into the AI so the AI can efficiently do things. This stuff is inherently flawed. I'm sure you guys get all the problems with this, but I'll just kind of want to go through it with you and explain their logic. So why is it flawed? One is AI may not necessarily be as good as they sell it to be. The other issue is what if the Adrian Dittman / Elon Musk isn't necessarily altruistic? What if they're not in it to just help everyone else? They actually have some sort of alternative motive to make themselves rich? Or what if they actually really do believe themselves, but they can't deliver anything that they have promised? This is sort of where you go to the track records of someone like Elon Musk or Donald Trump, where again, they sell you these grand visions, but don't actually deliver. For example, Donald Trump always likes to say, hey guys, we're going to build this awesome wall, and Mexico is going to pay for it, but it doesn't really work out that way. Or Elon Musk says, hey guys, we're going to have these awesome roadsters, right? We'll even take your deposit, but there's no roadster. We keep your deposit, and on top of that, we're not going to talk about it ever again. And if you bring it up, oh, well, we'd like to work on it, but sorry. That's how this stuff works. And so what becomes really dangerous about this stuff as well is you have to understand their culture. Someone like a Musk, someone like a Trump, or their other finance bros, they don't actually have the technical expertise to do what they want to do. They just have a vision. So for example, Donald Trump is not an architect, okay? He'll say, hey, I want to build these awesome hotels in Gaza. I'm going to build, these wonderful golf courses in Gaza. But Donald Trump is not the one in his, a room in his office drawing up the plans for the hotel and the golf course. He has no technical skills at all. And if you ever listen to Trump talk, he's not a particularly bright guy. It's obvious, right? And so essentially what they do is then they rely on hiring other people. Now, in that world, the people that they surround themselves with are basically, okay, I'm in it for a paycheck. My boss wants to do this grand vision that probably will never, ever come to fruition, probably never, ever, reach the budget that they want. But I'm just in it for a job, and I want to be around Donald Trump because that person will maybe elevate my career. So you have like these transactional people that all hang out together. Elon Musk is the same kind of situation. He's like, hey, I got this grand vision to turn the government into AI. And so then you surround yourself with a bunch of the, essentially college age, guys who are thinking, oh, Elon Musk is going to elevate my career, etc. And it's no wonder then that the people that he involves himself with are sort of grifter type of people, hacker type of people. That one is the youngest one. He even had that, company, Tesla Sexy is what he called it. He's got a bunch of companies. He was stealing, I guess, technology and leaking it to a rival company that was reported in Bloomberg today. He has connections in Russia. It's no wonder that Musk surrounds himself with those kind of people. And it's also no wonder that oftentimes, if you guys watch YouTube or any of the social, media creators that all pump Elon Musk, they're those same kind of person, this sort of used car salesman-y sort of people. It is massive, massive problem. Now, on top of that, you have to understand the culture of sort of these tech bros and finance bros. Oftentimes, they are socially dysfunctional. What do I mean by that? Like, they can't hold a relationship with a woman very well because they're all in it for the transaction. Like, okay, I'm rich. I know you're with me because I'm rich. If I buy you purse, if I buy you car, if I buy you whatever yachts, you'll stick with me. And if I don't buy you said things, then you'll leave me, right? Like, that's the kind of people that they hang out with. The same at work, the same with their personal relationships. And so in their mind, humans always behave in that way to where everyone's in it for the money in their world. Or another way to think about it as well is like, well, I don't really have any real friends, but if I go to the bar and I pay for everybody's drinks, or, we get the VIP table and I buy the VIP table and I buy the best food, etc. People will hang out with me because I've got money, but no one actually really likes to be around said person. Their conversation is kind of strange and no one really likes you. They just like your money. When you grow up with that kind of environment and those kind of people never having real friends, your sort of view of the world becomes distorted. And then essentially that's why an Elon Musk or Adrian Dittman, however you want to call that person, wants to essentially take, okay, let's take AI, let's replace all the people in government. And again, we can eliminate meetings, eliminate people, and AI can run everything more effectively and more smooth, in their opinion. Also, these kind of people, your Musks and your Trumps, they sort of have this need to beat other people, right? To them, it's all like kind of a game. I have to prove that I'm the most dominant, human on the planet. I have to show all the other humans that they're weaker than me, etc. And it's sort of like this, I guess, jungle-y, caveman-y kind of culture where, they think everyone out there is a predator and everyone out there is all about, putting their ideas to conquer other people's ideas. But again, what's so crazy about this stuff for the Musks and the Trumps or any of these tech bros, they all have these grand visions, but they, again, are not necessarily the ones creating the technology or creating the buildings or creating any of the stuff that they are, selling. They hire other people to do that, and the people that come and work with them are essentially just in it for the money as well. You get this massive bubble on many, many sides. Now, on top of that, as I mentioned before several times on the channel, Trump is doing this sort of sovereign wealth fund, which he signed an executive order into. And so it's a slush fund to collect all the money to pass around the tech bros. I was listening to, and Musk put it on his, Twitter X, if you want to listen to it. There's a podcast out there that just came out, and they were talking about who's going to run the sovereign wealth fund, who's going to run this slush fund money that will supposedly put America forward, that kind of stuff. They're like, oh, well, the people that have to do it have got to be the billionaires, right? And there's like, we need to have 5 billionaires and they'll rotate and they won't be in it for the money because they're already rich. They'll just be in it to help America. The problem with this kind of thinking, right, it is essentially, again, it's just this bro culture. There's people that think, okay, as long as someone's got money, therefore they must be smarter than everyone else. But it's all flawed, as I tried to describe the system to you. It's flawed because it's all filled with a bunch of salespeople that are selling you hot air and never really deliver the things that they promise. On top of that, oftentimes these people are really, really rich because they're born rich, right? They're already born with these kind of connections. And again, if you ever have conversations with any of these kind of people, you realize very quickly, wow, these people are awful. I don't want to hang without them at all. And I talk about this stuff in my book. You guys can find it. It's called Positive Angle. But essentially, in my earlier years, I hung out with a lot of these kind of people, and very quickly I realized I just don't want to go that route. I don't want to be a tech bro. I don't want to be a finance bro. I don't want to hang out with these kind of people that think that money is the god of everything, and the only way for me to get friends is to buy my friends. The only way for me to get relationships is to buy my relationships. That's the sort of people, how they think, and sort of why they change partners all of the time. On top of that, these people admire China, which is actually really quite interesting. You'll hear Musk talk about it. You hear Trump talk about it, and I just heard that All In podcast, they're kind of talking about admiring China when they're talking about the sovereign wealth fund. And so why do they admire China? Basically, in China, what you can do is you can abuse workers. That's essentially what it is. I used to work in China. I actually write about the stuff in my book. And for me, I was pretty much sickened by it, how the management treats workers. I don't like it. I don't want to be a part of it. And so what do I mean? It means like, okay, Musk will even say, oh, Americans are lazy. Chinese workers are awesome. They work 6 days a week. They work 12 hours a day. Fantastic, right? Now, from the billionaire slash sort of CEO, and not every CEO is like this, but from that kind of CEO, all they have is their vision. They hire a bunch of other people, and they expect you to dedicate your lives, your personal time, everything to them. They're going to call you on holidays. Oh, you got to get something done. They're going to call you on Saturday night, which he did recently, where he took his DOGE team on a Saturday night to go break into whatever government building that was the treasury at that time. And essentially, their vision, Musk vision, Trump vision, or whatever billionaire vision, their vision is the most important thing, and they expect everyone to go along with it and sacrifice everything else. And again, that vision is based on a bunch of hot air that they have want to build their hologram decks, they want to build their teleport machines, but they have no technical abilities to actually do it themselves. They have to have other people do it. And the whole thing becomes flawed. And what's even more crazy about this stuff is that anyone who has any sort of, technical skill or logical reasoning or critical thinking, you can see right through the Trumps and the Musks. It's obvious, right? But a lot of people still follow along with it because, well, guys, they have money, right? It's all based on their wealth. And that's sort of what we watch on the channel all the time is like Musk's wealth could collapse in an instant once Tesla stock starts selling off. On top of that, why else do these people, like China? Why else are we building the sovereign wealth fund? Because it is true. In China, if you don't have human rights, if you don't have any sort of labor boards, if you don't have any protections for regular people, you can do things in a different way than you can in USA. It's completely true, right? I can tear down my forests. I can kick out poor people from their land, and I can take their land, right? I can build highways in ways that would be easier in China than USA. But that's not necessarily a good thing. It's not necessarily a good thing, and I'm talking about the China situation, where you make an economy and a world that only benefits the very, very top, and among their circle of friends, the Trumps and the Musks and whoever, billionaires, would be like, big people who are in charge of hedge funds and these kind of things, that, wow, all of my friends at our yacht parties and our, good times in the Hamptons, we're all doing great and everyone's looking great. But like, again, they don't think about other people. They don't. This is all based on transactional relationships, based on hypes and bubbles, and it's all about inflating your wealth because for them, that's the only thing that matters. And this is sort of why I'm trying to explain this world to you guys, because I've just been noticing a flood of information, and it's really interesting how people interpret the world. For some people, they'll say, well, anything that Musk says and puts on social media must be true because Elon Musk said it and he's a billionaire. That's sort of how a lot of people think, even though if we actually take a look deeper, and anytime someone, asks me this question about Musk, it's always the same. A quick Google search, I can quickly see that it's a bunch of BS, the stuff that he says. And I try my best, guys, to show you guys as much stuff as I possibly can, but I understand. I completely understand. If you've never seen this world behind closed doors, you don't realize like how much, what's the right word to say, dysfunctional social relationships that these people have, or how much of this world is based on a bunch of pipe dreams, a bunch of salesmanship, right? Because these people can sell you the dream, but it's built on air and built on tech that may not work and in fact be dangerous. Now, in the investing slash stock world slash business world, right, people can get away with this stuff for years, right? It can happen. The issue right now, what we face is we're talking about turning government into that kind of world where Musk is really moving in here. They want to create that sovereign wealth fund. They want to turn everything into AI. They want to fire all of these people. And they're creating this world that sort of mimics China, to be perfectly frank, to where it only benefits the people at the very, very top. And everyone at the bottom gets left behind. We're all left working 6 days a week, 12 hours a day. And we're supposed to dedicate our lives to the vision, right? The vision of these billionaires. I question everything that's going on right now because one, I don't think Elon Musk is altruistic. I think he's in it for himself. I think for someone like him, he just wants to prove that he's better than everyone else. He can do everything better, eliminate all the people, and he thinks his tech, which he did not invent, which he doesn't even probably do anything. He probably just plays video games all days and on the phone doing Twitter and stuff like that, and expects his 20-year-olds to work 20-hour days or whatever to do all the work for him. Women are not included in this world, and I will say not rightfully so, that they shouldn't be, but no woman in their right mind would want to join that world. So, for example, it's been reported that they're all sleeping in the office these days. So imagine, just like, would a woman want to join this world if like there's 5 dudes sleeping in a small room, working 18 hours a day with Musk and a bunch of other dudes, and like maybe no one takes a shower. I don't want to be part of the world, and it's not really suitable. And they get in such in that kind of thinking and idolization of money and tech that they can't see outside or the flaws of their thinking. It is a kind of world that does not include everyone. That's by design. It's a kind of world that they're going to move fast, break things, and they're going to break a lot of things. And nothing's going to work as advertised. And they're dealing right now with the most sensitive data out there. They're doing things in unsecure ways to where who knows who has access to said information. They're going to lie constantly. That's going to be your Trumps, your Musks, and people involved with this stuff. And I personally think people are going to go to prison for these things that they're up to right now. There's reasons why we have laws in place. When you talk about hiring and firing people, when you talk about handling data, when you talk about how you sort of do standard operating procedures in the government, in various agencies, and there's sort of why we have a slower system. Safety valves is something that you want. You don't necessarily want to rush everything as fast as possible. And essentially, like right now, stuff is disappearing from websites. They have this grand vision, but it's not going to be working the way they say it is. And also, too, we're trying to get access to like, hey, what are you guys doing down there? And they keep blocking at every path. If they were doing things the right way, they would open the doors and let us know what they're up to. But it's not like that. They're trying to get as much as they can, as fast as they can. And I don't trust these people one iota because I know their history. I know the history of Musk, Trumps, and all these people that they are working with. And I know the world that they're trying to go to. And again, it's going to be closer to what you'll see in China with the oligarchy there than democracy, which I hope is still alive and well in America. So I just had to share some thoughts, get the things off my chest, and please share yours, and I'll catch you on the next video.